Il mio pensiero va ora a Gerusalemme.
Francis said he's deeply concerned about the status of Jerusalem.
King Cyrus of old and Donald Trump have some things in common.
And that may be the president's goal. By disrupting the status quo, he sends a jolt that could energize the peace process.
I have determined that it is time to officially recognize Jerusalem as the capital of Israel.
And right now in Israel, they're calling our president, Donald Trump, they're calling him Cyrus.
Donald Trump recognized history. He, like King Cyrus before him, fulfilled the biblical prophecy of the gods worshipped by Jews, Christians, and yes, Muslims.
The lawless one. The beast. The arch-deceiver. But most people know him as the Antichrist.
This is the silver coin of Donald Trump that's been made in Russia to mark his inauguration. The 12-centimeter piece bearing the American president-elect's profile has a Statue of Liberty on its other face with the inscription, "In Trump we trust."
Now, I want to point this out real quick, and it may be a little far-fetched, but anything is possible at this point of time. And we see everything going on with Trump, the manifestation of this exact transition.
We're going into transition, and I call it transition to greatness. It's going to be transition to greatness. Look, we're going to have a very interesting transition period.
The transition to greatness has officially begun.
I use the expression transition to greatness. We're going to have a really good third quarter, but it's a transition to greatness. It's the third quarter, then it's going into the fourth quarter. I think the fourth quarter is going to be really good, but I think that above all, next year you're going to have a tremendous year. Now,
Trump is the embodiment of Janus. In ancient Roman, Janus is the god of beginnings, gates, transitions, time, duality, doorways, passages, frames, and endings.
for those people that have lost somebody, for the people that have lost a loved one, even a close friend, nothing can ever happen that's going to replace that. But nobody's ever going to replace that. But I think from an economic standpoint, purely an economic standpoint, I think next year is potentially going to be one of the best years we've had. The numbers are going to be very good into the future. We're going to be very strong, starting with our transition period.
He is usually depicted as having two faces, since he looks to the future and to the past.
It's something that absolutely the president's going to focus on, but we have to keep moving forward. We're going to build on the momentum of the past and focus it on the future.
The future does not belong to globalists.
And they are really bringing these things to life in their deception, rituals, and sick pagan worship.
There are two different Donald Trumps. There's the one you see on the stage, and there's the one who's very cerebral.
The two Donald Trumps.
What Donald Trump are we going to see later this week? What Donald Trump are we going to see next week, next month?
When I walked in, his first sentence kind of threw me off. He said, "Trump hears that you don't like what Trump is doing." And I thought, wow, but you're Trump.
I think there are two Donald Trumps. There's the public version, and people see that, and I don't know what they see exactly, but it seems to have worked over my lifetime. But it's probably different, I think, than the personal Donald Trump.
All right. Now, this key that Janus has, it represents the same key that Trump gave Netanyahu, the special token of affection, and it's a key to the country and to the hearts. All of this is being programmed into reality.
Sure, I would love that. This was a special token of affection given by myself and the First Lady to Prime Minister and the First Lady of Israel. And it's a key. We call it a key to the White House, and it's a key to our country and to our hearts. And you've been an amazing leader for a long period of time, and this is, in many respects, the big day.
One man will break the code and open the door.
Well, this should read,
Stargate.
We will move heaven and earth to safeguard our great American citizens.
This level is filled with doors. These doors lead to many places.
The dangers to our country constantly evolve, and so must we.
It is I who says of Cyrus, he is my shepherd, and he will perform all my desire. And he declares of Jerusalem, she will be built, and of the temple, your foundation will be laid. Thus says the Lord to Cyrus, his anointed, whom I have taken by the right hand to subdue nations before him, and to loose the loins of kings, to open doors before him so that gates will not be shut.
The ancient Romans dedicated the first day of the year to a god about whom there's no fables, there's no myths, there's no stories that are told about the god Janus. And yet Janus appears in a lot of Roman art, always as two faces back to back, like two sides of a coin or two sides of a door. Janus represents not a story, not a myth, but a concept, the concept of choice.
When they present this concept of choice, even with these puppets, just know that it is all planned out. I believe they will use Trump even more throughout a second term to fulfill more of the agendas taking place, and in their eyes, they are getting ready for Lucifer to manifest.
But he didn't move quicker. He was months behind me, many months behind me.
And like a door is either looking forward or looking backwards, choosing to go into a hallway to go one direction or another.
The current president has cloaked American darkness for much too long.
Joe Biden grimly declared a season of American darkness.
That the guardians of their spirit world lived in the rocks and the trees. That one day, they're going to come back into our world.
Back in 2001, a simulated exercise portrayed a biological weapons attack and provided a preview of what America would look like by 2020. This is part of the predictive programming and manifestation.
In 2001, a real-world exercise tested the emergency response to a bioterror attack on the continental United States. The operation was called Dark Winter.
Without better planning, 2020 could be the darkest winter in modern history.
We're about to go into a dark winter. A dark winter.
Have a dark winter at all, which we didn't at the beginning.
And the Romans put it on a lot of their coins. Instead of images of the emperor, they had Janus, because they wanted the constant reminder, you are who you are choosing to be. You are evolving in a direction.
It's evolving. You know, there was never a give up. The press sort of reported there was like a give up. There's no give up. We started.
Darkness is coming.
This could just be the beginning.
Beginning of what?
All-out war.
The Trump to become a trumpet, and Bill Gates to open up the gate of a financial realm.
Now we need to work with Trump himself and the whole administration on what is your vision. Yes, I think he's open-minded.
Anytime either one of us think that we need to make a change or move in a different direction, this is about the president. It's about moving his agenda forward.
This God guarded only the reminder of your potential to change.
For historic change.
Served as the president's gatekeeper since day one of the administration.
The gatekeeper to the president.
These people are still a part of that system, and that makes them our enemy. You have to understand, most of these people are not ready to be unplugged.